I don't recommend this method. This is just something I do, and I just find it works. If you Google surface blur sharpen, it's a way to bring detail out in your pictures. It's like a sharpen, but it's almost like a recovered detail tool is how I think of it. And even at 100%, you can see the detail it brings back out. Again, please don't do it to your entire photo. You'll get weird haloing. You'll get... It's just ugly. I used to do it a long time ago, something similar, and it was horrible. My backgrounds looked too horrible. So let's bring it down to about 30. I usually go somewhere around 20 to 40 with it, off on, just to see how it's affecting things. You can see the creases in the back of the end girl here get more intense. I use it a lot for creases and hair. So I'm going to mask off the entire layer, holding Alt, new layer. I'm going to brush in at 100%. Just some details. So the last thing I'm going to do is show you how I sometimes reframe without losing my, what's the term for this? I want to reframe the girls, but I don't want to lose the back of the scene, if you know what I mean. I like the gap that's around their head, and I like the gap at the bottom. And if we reframe this to be correctly composed, we're going to lose either some of the sky, some of the ground, or both. So this is what we do. We stamp the layer, Shift, Option, Command, E. So we blend them all together. We get rid of that. Not rid of it, but we turn them all off. Or you can put them in a group. Turn the group off. Oh, well that didn't work. Let's try that. Okay, so now we have just our final image. I'm going to reframe this now. With the content aware fill tool, the more you do, the worse it tends to get. As in the algorithm it's too complicated for it to fill. So I select all. I'm going to transform my selection, not transform the picture. Hold down Shift before you click down here. Drag it in. I want to keep just knowing the content aware tool, so I've used it a fair bit. It's going to fill this in a lot better than it's going to fill this, and the reason is there's so many pixels here. We've got like definite lines. It's going to fill that no problem at all. This, not so much. Sometimes it'll end up cloning all this here and putting it there, and it'll just look really weird. So I'm going to keep as much of the sky as I can. Oh, hang on, I haven't finished doing this. And then we're going to run the algorithm on the bottom there. If it doesn't work around here, I can always clone that area because that looks quite easy to clone, easier to clone than some of the other areas. Hit enter to apply that transform selection. Now I'm going to duplicate this layer by pressing Command J, and what it does is it duplicates only what you've got selected. So if I take that off, you'll see I've got that. Now I'm going to reposition it with the focus more negative space at the bottom than anywhere else. This mightn't work very well, but we'll give it a go. Now, magic wand. Select the blank space that's not being used. Edit. Fill. Content aware. OK. And as you can see, it's done a fantastic job. The other thing I find that it does do is once you take your selection off, where the border was can sometimes need a bit of spot healing to fix up. We'll just press Command D to get rid of it. See, I can see the border. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, that's pretty good. I might still crop this, but let's fix up the details. New layer. Fix up, looks a little bit odd. fixed up that gun, but it doesn't look quite right, but that's okay. It's better than it was. This is a part that I've re-recorded because I didn't record the first part very well. So this is just the second crop and reposition of the photo. So I'm going to do, these layers might look the same as they did before because I've been playing. I'm going to stamp all the layers like I did before. So Shift, Option, Command and E to stamp them all together. I'm going to select all, Command A. So now that I've got it selected, I'm going to move it this time. I'm going to click this tool up here. I'm going to hold the Shift key because that keeps it on the same level without moving it up or down, and I'm just going to move it over to a composition that I like. I'm just going to turn those off just for a moment so you can get an idea of what I want. So I'm going to press Command D to deselect everything, use the magic wand to select this gap, and we're going to fill again with the Content Aware tool. Alright, so this has done a pretty good job for the most of it, although this bottom part here it hasn't done a very good job. So rather than keep redoing it, I think I'm just going to take a part of this and copy and paste and just walk with a little. I'll probably speed this up so that you don't have to watch it. So I've done a bit of a fix up here. It probably took 10 minutes, maybe 15. Before, after. I'm just going to add some noise to this little area to make it a little less blurred. So I'm going to mask it off completely. I'm going to paint on the layer mask the areas that I want to be affected, roughly. Just there like that, and some of that's a little bit blurred. Maybe a little bit of that. Okay, back to click the layer, add the noise to the layer. I'll blow that up so you can see it. It's actually probably a little too intense. I might just take the opacity down. Okay, so that's before the noise added. That's after. Before, after. This layer here with the little orange square is my original layer. If you want to see what your picture looked like without turning them all off and turning them all back on, if you hold the Alt key or the Option key and click the eye here on the original layer, it'll show you the original layer. As long as you've kept the Alt key held and you click it again, it shows you where you're up to. So we can just see the composition fix, considering the gun was out of the shot. So the last thing I'm going to do, which is what I'd done up here before I re-recorded it, is I'm going to sharpen the image. Okay, so we're going to stamp again, and I'm going to go to Filter. There's many ways to sharpen. There's many better ways to sharpen, but I just still use unsharp mask, always have, and yeah, probably always will. If your image is smaller than this, like this is 5,000 wide, so if you're editing, say, 1,000 wide image, you won't necessarily use the same level of sharpening because it'll look too intense on a small image. So, put that up a bit. I usually go somewhere between 80 and 100 for the full resolution images. Because this was originally very underexposed, it's adding a lot of noise I can see from here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply it, but I'm going to mask it off completely. And normally I would paint in areas that I want sharp. I will always do this. I'll mask off the sharpened layer and I'll paint in the hair, the clothes, basically anything at the front that I want to pop. But in this case, if I paint the whole thing in, we're going to get too much noise. So as a little trick, you can just paint in the edges of a photo. Although, if it's a close-up photo, it's going to be really obvious if it's of someone's face, and you'll go in and just paint the lines like this. Now, like I said, if I was normally sharpening, I would paint her, etc., paint him. Yeah, but I'm not going to. So you probably can't see a big difference with sharpening the edges unless we zoom in. And you'll start to see the noise it's added in between the lines. I'm not going to go and fix that up because I don't really need to. But if I take the mask off, like just hide it, if you can see, can you see? Let's blow a bit more. So that's with the whole layer sharpened. That's with just the edges sharpened. I'll do it again. So that's the whole layer sharpened, and that's the edges sharpened. So yeah, it makes a difference. Don't sharpen everything just because the unsharp mask makes something look good or makes it stick out. And I was about to say it's done, but I just think this is a little bit blurred still, so I'm just going to go in with the clone tool, fix it. And here's the final image. So we've got before and after. So if you've got a lot of patience, you can fix your photo. In this case, I think I said it at the start, I really love the series, and I think this picture really captured the mood of the series, and yeah, it just seemed like a waste not to have it at its full potential. Thank you for watching. Yeah, I'll do some more tutorials. I'm sorry it was so long. I'll try to do them. This was actually longer and it's been condensed. I will try to do them shorter next time in future, and maybe speed through some spots or cut some spots out. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye bye.